The great insight that I learned from Viktor Frankl in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control what you'll do about what happens to you. The one freedom nobody can take away from you is the freedom to choose how to respond. The day after Yom Kippur next month, I'm going to New Orleans and try and bring some comfort to the people there whose homes were washed away by the hurricane a year ago. And I'm going to quote Frankl to them and say, you had no power to keep the hurricane from coming. You have all the power you need to decide what you're going to do now in the wake of the hurricane. And this is what I would tell everybody. This is what I would tell everybody who's coming into the last third of their lives feeling you've been cheated, feeling that there were things you should have been able to get and they were never given to you. And if you hold on to that bitterness, if you're angry at people, at your parents for the way they raised you, at your mate for walking out on you, at your kids for embarrassing you, if you cannot cleanse yourself of that bitterness, you're not going to be able to enjoy the last part of your life. And it is in your power to do that. You cannot change the past. You cannot make what happened unhappen. But you can change what you do about it. You can decide what you're going to do about it. I say to people, all right, you've got complaints about how your parents raised you. Fine. Get over it. They have been dead for 10 years. Why are you still angry at them? I said to a woman in my congregation who complained about the husband who walked out on her 10 years earlier, I said to her, you realize what you've been doing? For 10 years, you've been standing here in Massachusetts, holding a hot coal in your hand, waiting for your ex-husband to come by so you could throw it at him. And for 10 years, he's been living it up in Iowa with his new wife, and you've burnt your hand. Isn't it time you put it down? I'll tell you a wonderful story. This is my favorite story about forgiveness. A young mother sitting in the park watching children at play sees two boys in a sandbox get into an argument. One of them says, I hate you. You're not my friend anymore. I am never playing with you again. And for 5 or 6 minutes, they play at opposite ends of the sandbox. And then slowly, warily, they edge closer and closer to each other until after a while they're playing together happily. And the young mother turns to a woman next to her and says, how do children do that? How can they be so angry with each other one minute and the best of friends the next? And the other woman says something very wise. She says, it's easy. They choose happiness over righteousness. It's a choice. It's a choice every one of us has the power to make. You can be a bitter old man or woman. You can be a bitter middle-aged man or woman by nursing all those grievances and refusing to let go because you believe the only power you have over somebody who has offended you is the power to withhold forgiveness. And the only person you're hurting, of course, is yourself. You want to write a happy ending to the story of your life? Cleanse yourself of all those bitter memories. Hold on to the memory, but leave out the bitterness.